much for being here. If you're catching this live, I'm so happy that you're here. If you're catching the replay or you're listening to the podcast after, I'm happy to chat with you in whatever way works best for you and your schedule and your capacity. If you're new here, my name is Erica Lehman, and I am a coach for wedding photographers. And I find that being a coach for wedding photographers is extremely rewarding, and it's a really interesting industry in that we are selling our art. We're selling a piece of our, really our fabric, like who we really are, in an effort to serve other people. And so there's a lot of mindset stuff that comes up with that, and stuff related to worthiness, and stuff related to whether or not we're good enough when we're enduring slow seasons. And it is not a secret that a lot of us wedding photographers are enduring a slow booking season right now. If you go into any Facebook group, if you chat in any place online, you'll notice that people are in general lamenting the fact that they're not receiving as many bookings as they've been used to over the past few years. They're not receiving as many inquiries. Not as many people are converting from the inquiry to consultation process. And we're seeing less people book after a consultation, which is an indication that buyer behavior is just changing right now. We're just in a moment where buyer behavior is a little bit different. And so we can't always be doing and expecting the same results from what we used to do before. But as we're on this journey of trying to figure out what we need to be doing differently and what we need to be keeping the same, what boundaries we need to put around our time and our availability, and what do we feel okay sharing in order to get to a place of booking with a couple. There's a lot of mindset stuff that needs to happen in the interim so that we don't feel like we need to give up, so that we don't feel like we're not here for any particular reason. I truly believe that if somebody feels called to being a photographer and to being a wedding photographer and to serving other people, then there's space and there's opportunity for you here. And even when we are mindful and we know that the market is saturated, because it is, we can also still know that there are always going to be clients that are going to be very well served by us. And those are the clients that have been aligned for us. And what's for us really does not pass us. And so if you are in a season where you are also experiencing slow growth, you're also experiencing slow inquiries, slow bookings, a quietness about your business, this is when it's a great opportunity to really pay attention to your mindset, to really refine your mindset so that you don't get stuck in this loop and this wheel of feeling like there's no space for you here. Because if you're here, there's space for you here. The end, right? So I want to share 5 different things that I think are really helpful for us to think through according to our mindset when we are going through a season that is slower, a season that is quieter. So the first thing that I want to just remind us all of is that we are all fully capable of being successful. And yes, we have to endure certain seasons, right? Yes, we're going to have to deal with recessions. Yes, we're going to have to deal with the impact of inflation. Yes, we're going to have to deal with logistical things that require maybe some things changing in our business and our business model. But you are still fully capable of being successful because you're able to bet on yourself, right? And if you are able to bet on yourself, then you can bet on the fact that you are smart enough, you are capable enough, you have enough capacity to become successful in the way that you desire to be successful. Maybe it needs to change a little bit slightly according to what's going on in the industry around you. Maybe expectations need to be managed in a different way. Maybe we need to be realistic about how long it really takes for a successful business to grow. Even yesterday, I got a text message from one of my former coaching clients who signed up with me in 2017, 2018. And she told me that she has a full wedding season this year. And now it's 2023. And it really took her like a solid 4 to 5 years to build up to that full wedding calendar, essentially. And so we have to be realistic about the fact that slow and steady wins the race. We have to know that as much as we really desire to have these, like, I don't know, almost like this firework explosion of success, the type of success that is lasting and sustainable is often the success that takes a long time to take root. And so, with that being said, though, you are still fully capable of being successful, and you need to believe that for yourself in order to see the success that you desire as you move forward. And I want to remind us here, too, that, like I said before, we may have to adjust our expectations, we may have to adjust some of our business model, but we are not at the mercy of the circumstances in the industry. We're not at the mercy of what we feel like a lot of other people are talking about. We don't have to always adopt what everybody else is saying when we truly believe that we can get to a point of success in our business. It's up to us to embody that sense of success. It's up to us to renew the way that we think about the industry, the way that we think about our circumstances. And because our success is up to us, right? Like, my success is up to me. I can trust myself to be successful, right? I can trust myself that I can make the actions, I can do the things I need to do to be successful. And that is also an option for you as well. You're not just at the mercy of whatever's happening around you. You are also able to say, like, this is happening and I'm still going to do the work to get to the point where I really desire to be successful. The second thing that I want to share here too is kind of related to this idea that you can trust yourself to be successful. You can also trust your pattern of success in the past. You can trust that you have the evidence of past success. If you've done it before, you can do it again, right? If you've booked one wedding client, you can book another one. If you've had one full wedding season, you can have another full wedding season. Are there going to be transitions? Are there going to be things that we need to adapt to? Yes, but your pattern is that you're successful. Your pattern is that you do the work to get to the point of where you need to be to have success in your business, right? You can trust your pattern. You can trust your evidence that you know what you're doing. If somebody has booked you once, they will book you again, right? It's just up to you to determine what kind of scope you want to put around that booking. Do you want the same exact booking, or are you open to making changes? Do you want the same exact booking, or do you want something different? Either way, if you've booked one wedding, you can book another one. And that is the absolute truth. The third thing here too is what I kind of alluded to before, is that slow growth is healthy growth. But what I want to remind us of too is that slow growth is not no growth. And sometimes it will feel that way. Sometimes it will feel like, oh my God, like, I'm plugging along, I'm doing all these things, and I'm not seeing the results that I desire. I'm not seeing the success that I desire. I'm doing everything that I really think I need to be doing right now, and I'm still not seeing what I want. And so then it's up to you to determine, are you in a season of implementation, of remaining consistent, of doing the work to lay the foundation to get to success? Or are there other things that maybe need to change and pivot in your business? That's up to you to analyze and determine. But if you are being consistent, you are doing the actions that you need to do, you are, refining the things that you need to refine in your business and in your work, then maybe you're just in a season of slow growth. And just because you can't see the fruits of your labor yet doesn't mean that you'll never see the fruits of your labor, right? The fourth thing here is that we need to be realistic about the season that we're in, and we need to honor the season that we're in. And the reason why I throw this in here is because I know for me personally, when I had a 9-to-5, I was always chasing this bigger, more full wedding season. And now when I look back on the wedding seasons that I had when I had my 9-to-5, I literally don't know how I did it. I literally don't know how I balanced a 9-to-5 and a wedding season of anywhere between 20 and 30 weddings with sessions sprinkled in between. I literally don't know how I did it. And I really do believe that if I had been realistic about the season that I was in, if I had been realistic about the fact that I was working a 9 to 5 and running a business, then maybe I wouldn't have burned the candle at both ends in the way that I very clearly used to. And I was always chasing this dopamine hit of like the next big wedding season or the next big wedding that I would book. But honestly, when I'm looking back, was that something that I could have and probably should have done differently? Yeah, it is, because I wasn't honoring the season that I was in. I wasn't being mindful of my true capacity. My relationships were like lacking in these seasons because my sole focus was on that next dopamine hit, because I wasn't being honest about the season that I was in. And I bring this up because this isn't something that should be depressing. It's actually something that should give you some sense of positivity and some sense of assuredness. Because if you're in a season where there's just like a lot of stuff going on in your life, it is okay to redefine the way that you want to look at success in your business. It is okay to acknowledge that as long as you feel financially safe, then you're financially safe. And that is a success, right? It doesn't always have to be this big idea of 10 million weddings on your calendar. Sometimes it can be, I like to have 10 weddings on my calendar per year, a few sessions sprinkled in between because I have a 9 to 5, because I'm raising my family, because I'm growing another part of the business, right? Be realistic and honor the season that you're in, so that you can really define success in a way that makes sense for who you are and what you're working towards in the midst of whatever you're going through as well. And then the last thing that I want to share is that we need to release the outcome. I think a lot of us, kind of like going back to this example that I just said and offered, we're so focused on the big picture that we miss out on all of the little in-betweens. And truly, the journey of entrepreneurship is such a journey. It's such an ordeal. It will stretch you in ways that like you never even knew you could be stretched. It is just a giant roller coaster, and that's okay. We choose it, and that's okay. But we need to understand that as we're moving towards the outcome, as we're moving towards the goal, the biggest success, the biggest positive outcome that you can attain through going through a quiet season is that it makes you a better, more well-rounded business owner, a better, more well-rounded individual, a better, more well-rounded person that's in relationship with other people. And when we release the outcome and we really understand that like the journey is really the most important part of getting to the outcome, then we don't put so much emphasis on what we don't get, what we haven't achieved, especially within a certain time frame. We're able to understand that everything that is happening to us is happening for us. Everything that's happening around us is happening for us in business, and some good thing will come out of it, and that should and can be considered a success. I truly believe that too much of the entrepreneurship space is defined by numbers. And I'm a numbers person. I like data. I like statistics. I like measuring things. I like using the numbers that business gives to us as evidence of success and as measuring trends on where to move forward. But I think that the most important and special and successful thing that really usually comes out of entrepreneurship is that you become a more whole person, right? You become a more well-rounded individual. You learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about others. You learn so much about the world in being an entrepreneur. You see things in different ways because you have access to that type of vision, and not every person has access to that type of vision. It's a very different situation for somebody who goes to an office job and makes a paycheck, as opposed to somebody who runs a business, is an entrepreneur, is very mindful of their clients, is very mindful of their team. These are just different leadership opportunities, different ways of becoming a person that the general public doesn't necessarily have access to. And so when we define our business purely in terms of outcomes and numbers around outcomes, then we're really actually missing out on what the true benefit is in being a person who is an entrepreneur and in being a person who is running an artistic and creative business, right? It's a really special thing to be able to do this. It's a really special thing to be an entrepreneur. It's a really special thing to be a photographer, a wedding photographer, or any other creative entrepreneur. And we need to kind of adjust our vision around that, that at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the number of bookings or how full our calendar is. It's just not true. Like, do you need to make money? Yes, but you can make money anywhere. And that's something that we forget too, is that just because maybe your business is not making the money that you want it to make right now, you can still leverage your talents, your abilities, your creativities in different ways to make money, right? You can also still go to a part-time job, right? So really, you always have the ability and the capability to make money where you want to make money or how you want to make money. But sometimes we'll just have to do what we have to do, which is a hard thing. It requires some ego death, but it's available, you know? And so if you really want to be building your business and you want to prioritize financial safety, you can do both. You can do both, right? And then you can trust too what you are doing to take care of yourself and your financial safety and your sense of comfort within your finances. That sense of comfort will track and will move forward into a sense of comfort in your business as well, right? And then you're setting yourself up for success. So I think these are all really positive things that we need to think about while also being realistic, right? Like, I don't think that mindset around being positive in business is all like, well, I'm just going to stay positive and hope that things work out. No, no, no. Like, we have some opportunities here to use the evidence, to use our experiences, to know that as we move forward, we will have access to success. We're not stuck at the mercy of our industry circumstances. We do have more opportunities available. We don't have to be so rigid about the way that we define success or about the way that we actually find success. We're allowed to change. We're allowed to pivot. We're allowed to refine. And that's a really good thing. So I hope that these little mindset shifts help today. We are all fully capable. We are all fully capable of attaining what we desire. It's just managing our expectations until we get to that point of where we desire. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great day.